Microorganisms are organisms which can be seen under microscope. So, they require this microscope for investigation of these small miniature organisms which cannot be seen through naked eye. So, the microorganisms can be divided into various other categories like bacteria, some fungi, protozoans which cannot be seen through naked eye. Okay. So, then viruses, however, viruses are not included in the taxonomical classification. Now, let us see about the various diseases caused by microorganisms. So, microorganisms are doing some good in the terms of fermented products and medical applications like antibiotics and life saving drugs, but however, most of them cause diseases in man, plants as well as in other animals. So, these microorganisms can be categorized based on the bacterial infection. It can cause some fungal diseases, protozoan diseases, viral diseases. So, now let us see about the microorganisms, how they are able to cause diseases. So, before that, let me give you a history about how Anton von Leeuwenhoek was instrumental in discovering this microscope. So, after the discovery of invention of this microscope, we come to know about this unknown microbial world. So, then we also have to talk about Robert Koch. So, who has given us this Koch postulates. The Koch postulate says that a particular organism is the one which causes disease, and we can also, if you take the organism, purify it and insert it into an animal, that disease will show up. And then he also says we can also culture those organisms. Okay, in the laboratory we can culture those organisms. From Neet perspective, there was a question asked like this: which of one of the following microorganism deviate or will not follow the Koch postulates? The choice given to you are A. Clostridium botulinum, B. Epidermophyton, C. Plasmodium, D. a virus, okay, poliovirus, let us call it as poliovirus. If this is the question, what could be the answer for this kind of neat question? So, which will not follow the Koch postulates. So, Koch says that if a particular organism which causes the disease is isolated, it can be cultured. So, till date we cannot culture Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So, that is the answer for this question, wherein we have Mycobacteria as one of the choice. So, Mycobacterium, Clostridium can be cultured, then Epidermophyton can be cultured, poliovirus can be cultured, whereas protozoan also can be cultured, in Plasmodium also can be cultured, but if there is another choice wherein they say Mycobacterium tuberculi, that would be the answer, because TB causing germ, which is Mycobacterium tuberculi, cannot be cultured till date. So, it is deviating from Koch postulates. So, let me with this introduction, let me talk about the various bacterial diseases, fungal diseases and protozoan diseases and viral diseases. So, when we talk about bacterial diseases, the various diseases caused by bacteria. So, starting from typhoid, which is caused by Salmonella typhi, then cholera, Vibrio cholerae. So, the bacteria can be categorized as various forms. Based on the morphology, we can classify them as round shaped bacteria, which is called as cocci. Then we have rod shaped bacteria. These rod shaped bacteria can be called as bacilli. And as this comma shaped bacteria, which we all are aware, is Vibrio. So, likewise, morphologically each one will be caused by different bacteria. The Salmonella typhi is causing this typhoid, and Vibrio cholerae, which is a comma shaped bacteria, causes cholera. Then there are very many waterborne diseases also caused by bacteria. Then apart from this, we also have this food poisoning caused by bacteria. The causative germ is Clostridium botulinum. Clostridium botulinum. Then we also have to talk about the age-old diseases, which we call them as plague, pneumonic plague and pneumonic plague. bubonic plague and pneumonic plague is caused by Yersinia pestis. So, Yersinia, age-old diseases, that is what. These are age-old diseases. This has been there since times immemorial, that is plague, then tuberculosis, then we also have leprosy. So, leprosy and tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium leprae and Mycobacterium tuberculi. So, these are various bacterial diseases wherein treatments are available in the form of antibiotics. So, most of the antibiotics can control these diseases. Likewise, when we come to the next viral fungal diseases, most of the fungal diseases affect plants more because of the moisture content and all that transpiration. So, but fungal diseases, though limited to man, still they do cause some diseases. But what is common to man is we have more of bacterial disease and viral disease, whereas a plant is susceptible to fungal disease and viral disease. Man is susceptible to bacterial disease and viral disease. Now, let us discuss about the fungal diseases which are caused in man. We talk about ringworm disease caused by epidermophyton, which we also call it as athlete's foot. Athlete's foot, which we find in the cleaning people and those who are engaged in washing work. So, they have these athlete foot wherein epidermophyton, microphyton are responsible for causing this fungal disease. Then apart from that, we also have candidiasis. So, candidiasis is indeed a very severe disease where the candida, which is a pathogenic fungi, can mix with the blood and can grow in blood too. So, that is candidiasis, for which the treatment could be from 6 months to lifetime drugs. So, whereas if you look at all these drugs are drugs to contain these diseases will be taken only for a week. So, including say Streptococcus pneumonia, which causes pneumonia. Streptococcus pneumoniae. All these diseases require only just 1 week of treatment, but whereas the disease which is caused by mycobacteria, that is leprosy and tuberculosis, require a treatment of 6 months to 2 years depending upon the severity of the disease. Whereas if you look at the fungal diseases are mostly treated using ointments, topical ointments, and whereas in severe infections where they have mixed with the blood, in rare occurrences they are also given antibiotics, and these antiviral antibiotics have been given for several months, years to at times lifetime. So, lifetime drug is also given for this fungal, to contain these fungal diseases. Then we are talking about the viral diseases. The viral diseases are also common to us both in the plant system as well and animal system. We have again the age-old diseases like polio, as we have seen in Egyptian pyramids also. They have portrayed that in the paintings. You can see that there are polio afflicted pictures in the Egyptian pyramids. So, it has been an age-old disease. Poliomyelitis is a virus, and ranging from poliomyelitis to common cold, we have quite a lot of disease which come under this viral disease, where it is very common cold, then polio, then HIV, then hepatitis. So, various diseases are also caused by the viruses. So, then the STDs, when you talk about the separate class, which we can even call it as STDs, the sexually transmitted diseases. The sexually transmitted diseases like Neisseria, then gonorrhea. So, these are other STDs including AIDS, which is caused by HIV, then chlamydia. So, these diseases are also known as sexually transmitted diseases, out of which 2 are Neisseria gonorrhoeae and syphilis, Treponema palladium. Neisseria gonorrhoeae and Treponema palladium. Syphilis, which is caused by Treponema palladium. These both are bacterial diseases, whereas AIDS is a viral disease. So, they are called as, they come under the category of sexually transmitted diseases. So, other diseases include protozoan disease. When you talk about protozoan disease, the protozoan diseases are like the common malaria. Malaria is caused by Plasmodium. There are 4 strains of Plasmodium, as we are aware. The Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum. Plasmodium falciparum is the malignant malaria, it causes malignant malaria. Vivax, ovale and malariae are benign malaria. The most severe of all malaria is Plasmodium falciparum. So these are protozoan. Then apart from this, we also have to talk about waterborne diseases, which we are aware that the waterborne diseases like jaundice, cholera, as we have seen it already, amoebiasis. So these are waterborne diseases which can be controlled by just taking boiled water. Boiled and filtered water, we can control waterborne infection. Then we talk about Helminth diseases. The Helminth diseases are worm diseases. So mostly the Teniasis, then Ascariasis. So as a result of contaminated water, Ascariasis, Teniasis are some of the diseases. Then liver fluke infection, then hookworm infection, then bloodworm infection. So these infections because of drinking contaminated food, contaminated water and contaminated food. So these are also categorized as Helminth diseases. So we categorize the diseases as bacterial diseases, then fungal diseases, viral diseases, then Helminth diseases and waterborne diseases. These diseases have been caused by various microorganisms ranging from the very simple microorganisms to very complex microorganisms. So we say that Streptococcus pneumonia is caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae causes pneumonia, whereas common cold is caused by a virus, but common cold is mostly an upper respiratory disease. So it affects the upper respiratory system. It is not that severe, but Streptococcus pneumonia is indeed a very complex organism because it even affects the lungs, wherein which it causes pneumonia. So the self treatment for pneumonia is not possible, but self treatment for common cold by using grandmother medicine or folk medicine is possible, but for Streptococcus it is wise to be admitted in the hospital and get it treated. So the severity of the disease depends on what kind of organism they are and how what is the mode of infection and how is the severity of the infection. So thereby it causes disease, and for controlling these diseases which we have listed, there are various antibiotics. So we have antiviral antibiotics, then antifungal antibiotics. Then apart from that, we have one another problem which can be caused by virus, which we call it as cancer. So this is a latest add-on wherein now we have that 1/3 of the cancers are related to viruses. So cancers can also be caused by other agents like aflatoxin is caused, aflatoxin is an agent which causes cancer, which we call it as carcinogen, but it is produced by aspergillus, a fungi. But likewise 1/3 of the cancer is due to virus. For example, if you take hepatitis B virus causes liver cancer. Then Epstein-Barr virus causes brain cancer. So likewise 1/3 of the cancer is correlated with that of this virus. Thereby this is also a disease which is caused by virus, though we call it as cell division problem, though it's a cell division disorderliness in the cell division. However, we come to an understanding now viruses now can cause cancer. Likewise, we have antibiotics to control all of this. As I said, the bacterial antibacterial antibiotics are from the fungal world, especially penicillin, erythromycin, neomycin. So these antibiotics can control within a week's time. Within a week's time it can control these diseases, but rare exceptions are there. We talk about mycobacterial diseases like leprosy and TB, tuberculosis, where we need a treatment of up to 6 months to 1 year for getting rid of these infections. Then we come to fungal treatment. The fungal treatment, as I already said, this fungal treatment can range from topical ointment up to the lifetime drug. So mostly it is given for 1 year or say 3 years or 5 years. Sometimes it is given for lifelong, so to contain this severe infections like candidiasis. For ringworm and athlete foot, just a topical ointment would be enough to treat it. Then comes the virus. So for virus, the viral diseases have been known since times immemorial, as we have discussed, the polio virus. Now we have vaccines for that. So we cannot have an antiviral antibiotic which is very expensive. So acyclovir, azithromycin, these are some of the drugs used for antiviral antibiotics, but these drugs are very expensive and it comes at very exorbitant prices. So, in that case the best option to get rid of these viruses is vaccines. So, the vaccines are available. It's kind of a preventive measure to control these viruses. We have OPV, polio vaccine, that is sabine vaccine, which is a polio vaccine, and then we also have hepatitis B vaccine. So, vaccines are designed against mostly viruses, whereas for bacteria, some of the bacteria, but we have vaccines to control it, but rather than using antiviral antibiotics, which comes at a very exorbitant price. Then coming to cancer, so these for cancer treatment also nowadays we have interferons, anthromycin antibiotic, and therapies like radiation therapy or chemotherapy, along with or integration therapy, wherein we can even club immunotherapy also by using interferons and monoclonal antibodies for treatment of cancer. So, to sum up that these diseases, various diseases to sum up these diseases, the diseases are caused by microorganisms according to Koch postulates. Then once the microorganism intrudes into our body, then they show up in the form of symptoms. So, if we diagnose it using the proper diagnostic tool, then we can understand that the microorganisms has entered our body. Once it is understood that the diagnostic measures says that there is an organism inside the body, then immediately the drug regime can be started to control the infection, to get rid of these microbial related diseases. So, with this we will take forward to the next class, wherein we are going to detail about each disease and its preventive measures, as well as the diagnostic measures, as well as the control strategy.